When the unthinkable happens, little ones who need to be rescued from a dangerous situation, this facility can be a safe haven anytime, day or night.
There's hardly any foster homes. I got a phone call this weekend because I do on-call for the ranch, and there was a 2- and 4-year-old that were placed in El Paso due to the fact that we didn't have any homes. We don't have any capacity here.
The shelter has 16 beds, 15 currently occupied. Director KAYLEE HENDRIEX says that's not ideal. The shelter is a holding area for children CPS removes from their homes. The kids stay here until a foster home or other safe place is found.
Our goal is to either put them out at the Boys Ranch or put them in a foster home. The shelter is the last resort.
She says it's a last resort because the max time a child can stay at the shelter is only 90 days.
The goal for CPS is to find them the least restrictive environment. We don't have house parents here. We have people that work shifts and rotate in and out all the time. We have kids coming in and out, and it's just not a very home-like environment.
HENDRIEX says her staff is the reason the shelter stays afloat.
They know that they're leaving in 90 days, but they still allow themselves to attach to these kiddos and take care of them and just provide what they need.
These children come from many different backgrounds, and the staff tries to make the transition as comfortable as possible.
We have a lot of different cases. We have everything from physical abuse to neglect to parental drug use, so our kids come in all shapes. A lot of them come with the clothing on their back, and that's it. There's always a lot of crying when they get here, and we kind of try and warm them up. We have a dog, Bella, and she greets them. We're sad when they leave us, but we know that they're either hopefully going to a foster home or back with their parents.
Not all Lubbock area children are able to come to either the Texas Boys Ranch or the emergency shelter.
Currently, we are only able to keep around 60% of the kids that are removed from this area in this area. So that makes it really hard on the parents, makes it hard on the kids, and it would be a lot better if we could find foster homes in order to keep these kids local.
HENDRIEX says the underlying reason for the ranch and the emergency shelter is the lack of foster homes available.
The foster home crisis in Lubbock is unreal. We're sending little ones out to Dallas, Fort Worth, El Paso, and they deserve to stay in a home with a mom and a dad that will take care of them. Not everybody can be a foster parent, and we are not all called to do the same thing, but we are called to do something. And if you are not a person that wants these kiddos in your home, support the people that are taking care of these kids.
HENDRIEX says she and her staff try to make the shelter a home.
We do the best that we can. It's sad that we do have to have an emergency shelter due to the fact that we don't have enough foster homes, but that's just the reality of the situation, and we will continue to stay full until that crisis ends.
The emergency shelter has volunteer opportunities available. If you'd like more information on ways you can support the shelter, visit the Fox 34 News app. With senior photojournalist Andrew Wood, Stacy Reichard, Fox 34 News at 9.
Back up. Come on.
This is Abby. She's 16 years old. Her sanctuary is being surrounded by a pack of colts.
I was really, a really sad person. I was really, emotional. When I was sad, I'd come up here, even when nobody was up here, and I'd talk to Whiskey. I talk to Whiskey better than I talk to Miss Kendra.
Miss Kendra is Kendra Jones, a licensed professional counselor and equine specialist. She works with the horses and kids on social skills, self-confidence, patience, and problem solving, all from a horse.
The size of the horse, when a kid understands I can control this 1,000, 1,500 pound horse, I can control what's going on for me. Many of them have talked about the horse being their best friend, something that they can talk to, that listens, and so that relationship sometimes is the most healing.
Jones says most of the kids are receptive to the horses and even start identifying with them.
Some are very empathetic, some are a little more stubborn. So there's times that we then can say, okay, what is it like working with Peanut, who is a little stubborn, and are you ever a little stubborn? And how can we change that? How can you maybe work on that a little bit? So we try to also, anything we're working on in the arena, we also say, okay, in your cottage, at school, with friends, how can we help? How can we make things just a little bit better or easier?
Abby says the horses have made her life easier. She considers the 30 horses at the ranch her best friends.
Just something about them kind of calms me down. Just makes me happy.
Jones says she's seen the growth in Abby in just the year they've worked together.
You see the fruit of the seed you're planting. Sometimes we don't see that, but in her we've seen that. It's been really amazing to watch her grow.
Abby says they give her direction and responsibility. She feeds and grooms them every day.
It's important because I know what to do, and like I'm not everywhere.
To see the impact that you can have on a young person's life is pretty touching. It's life-changing, so not just for me, but for them as well. So
I think they can, kind of change your lives.
Abby started at the emergency shelter and has been at the ranch for a year. She's going to be a junior in high school and starting the process to find a forever family. With senior photojournalist Andrew Wood, Cassie Carlson, Fox 34, News at 9.
When Ed LOSINSKI hurt himself and was unable to continue working as a carpenter, he and his wife were left feeling uncertain about the future.
Her and I had talked about doing some missionary work.
That uncertainty quickly faded when they realized there was mission work just miles away.
We had taken a freedom weekend at our church to discover what our gifts are and what we should do. Someone had mentioned Texas Boys Ranch just out of the blue. And everywhere I went, I found a card that said Texas Boys Ranch. I looked online, it said Texas Boys Ranch, and I pretty much said to him, this is something that keeps coming up.
In November of 2016, Ed and Robbie became house parents. Since then, it's been an up and down journey.
There's a lot of times that these hearts have been crushed, and to build up that trust with them, it does take some time.
The LOSINSKIs try their best to provide these kids a sense of normalcy.
We went on a camping trip to Colorado, and we were doing tent camping, and we have our little one, and she has trouble sleeping. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, she woke me up and said, Miss Robbie. And my first reaction was, I was tired. Why are you waking me up? And I said, yes, what can I do for you? And she said, I really love you. No, I didn't. She laid back down, and I laid there and just thought, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for giving me these little moments that you can just hold in your heart.
It's those moments that remind Ed and Robbie they are exactly where they're meant to be.
God chooses certain people for these kinds of jobs because he knows that you can withstand having your heart broken over and over again.
Whether it's saying goodbye to children they love or feeling the pain they've endured, it's a heartbreak the couple will continue to take on.
They're not bad, they're hurt. And that's our job, to help them heal and understand a little bit.
The LOSINSKIs do get days off every week. However, they believe parenting is a full-time job and are always close by. With senior photojournalist Andrew Wood, Megan Reyna, Fox 34 News at 9.